Hi gang, Ed here, and welcome to this course on starting from scratch. If there's one thing that I'm constantly asked by people, it's what would you do if you had no resources, but you had the enthusiasm and you had the time? What would you do? Well, this course is my answer, and it's going to be delivered to you in this fantastic, groundbreaking new format which was developed and prototyped by 845 Club. To that end, what we're going to do in this completely no cost to you first video is we're going to do an interview with Mark Copeman, founder of 845 Club, with me. And he's going to ask me about my trials and tribulations, and there were many when it came to starting from scratch. It's not all the bells and whistles and glamour that you may see now. Let me tell you, I had to start from scratch too. Plus, you're also going to see footage from our recent Melbourne seminar where I explained in detail this starting from scratch process. So I really hope you enjoy it. It's something that's very passionate. I'm very passionate about. I think it's so important, and I think if you're in the position where you don't have a bank to get started, you don't have that initial amount of money to start, this is the best way to get it, and it won't cost you a cent to see this first video. So what have you got to lose? Go and check it out now, and we'll speak after the video.
We should have coffee cups on the table, really, but, you know. So then, it's time to reveal the man behind the camera lens, the microphone, the iPhone, the audio boo, all those things that you see and hear from Ed over the course of a year, particularly in August, of course. Thanks to some great feedback from our last course, it's very, very clear to see that people want to understand what makes this guy tick, and really to learn from his experiences. It's all well and good hearing his wisdom, but it's actually, I'm hoping, going to be quite interesting to hear about his background and how he's got to where he's got today. So you ready to rock?
Let's go.
So we're starting from scratch.
Why Tim Tams, by the way?
Do we need some Tim Tams, maybe?
No, they're fine. But
okay.
You wanted to know what makes me tick.
That's all right, Tim Tams.
Why Tim Tams? It was a great interview. I really enjoyed it. Awesome. I hope you guys got as much out of it as I did.
So my first question is, how long ago did you start from scratch?
I have started from scratch multiple times in my life, in a sense.
That's allowed, is it?
Yeah, well, and this is the point. I think, you know, if I look at the various times in my life, entrepreneurially speaking, you know, straight out of university, I decided insanely to create a magazine because I knew how these Macs, these newfangled Macs at the time, could actually digitally create a magazine. And so I thought I'd do that on NASCAR racing. And I knew nothing about business, nothing about cash flow, nothing about anything. And of course bootstrapped the whole thing, and with a bit of gumption and tap dancing managed to put together a magazine and get a few things published. But I don't know, there's that great joke, of course, which is, you know, how do you make a small fortune, have a large fortune, start a magazine. It didn't go well because I didn't really understand the concepts of cash flow. And in fact, it went...
it's kind of important, isn't it?
It's just a tad, because most people, and it's a great business lesson, they look at an opportunity and they look at the profit and loss. They check out the profit and they look, wow, I can make $50,000 at the end of the year. This is great. I can live on that for a start. That's a good first year. But what they don't see is the massive dip between them paying out money and the money actually starting to come in. And in publishing, it's horrendous. And I had this idea that you could get advertisers from big companies to actually pay quickly, like in 7 days. So I could pay the printers and the pre-press people, and then the profits would come from the magazine sales, because you didn't get magazine sale profits in those days for literally 4 months after publication date. So, yeah, that didn't go so well. And I managed to, in fact, I came across the documentation not too long ago, and it was like, I managed at a very young age to get myself in like $52,000 worth of debt. And we're talking, you know, late 80s, early 90s money. So, I try to look at the bright side and think, gee, that's, it takes a bit of talent and skill to get into that much debt at that young an age, especially coming from my background, which was totally poor. And, and I almost went bankrupt out of the whole thing, but I avoided it. Thanks to a very understanding barrister, and ended up, it took me 4 years out of my wages, because then I went to work for a living, and but I paid them all back, and which was a great lesson in a sense, because it taught me that as long as you're breathing, there are options.
People getting into this today, they're starting from scratch right now. Mm-hmm. Can you still make it big if you start today, or do you need to have been in it for many, many years?
No, you can, of course, make it big today, but to make it big, you have to make it small.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean? And I think, yes, I think there are more opportunities today than ever before. I mean,
do you think it could even be easier today than it was?
Well, in a lot of ways, it is much easier. Think about product creation. When I started this in, think about it. 2000. Let's just go back to 2004. What would you need? How much would it cost you to create a video? How much would it cost you to distribute a video online? It was insane amounts of money. To broadcast something live was incredible amounts of money. We were dealing in ebooks then and PDFs. The whole concept of cameras that could shoot this stuff, they were expensive. $10,000, $20,000. A Mac, dare I say it, in 2000 was outrageously expensive. Here's the thing: you quit your job, and all of a sudden, if it's not working after 3 or 4 weeks, the savings are starting to dwindle, and the pressure builds. And I'll tell you something right now: if you're under financial pressure, or if you're under, to go all psychological, I think we all did Maslow's, that pyramid, where we have shelter and food and all that sort of. As soon as you start threatening that, there's no way you're going to make your internet marketing business work, because you're stressed all the time, and you won't be open to the, as we teach, in some of our courses, luck is a skill. You don't get that luck because you're so stressed about making this work, and so you try to force something to work. And as soon as you start to force something to work, you're in deep trouble. Wasn't that lovely? Now, I'm sure the very first question that is your mind is this: do you have to be as beautiful as I am to be able to be successful in internet marketing? Fortunately, no. Even people who are as attractive as I am have to go through the same process. It's very important. Of course, I'm kidding. This is for anybody. And this process, as we just talked about, is something that anybody can do. So here is the deal, okay? Please sign up just down below. We have 11 modules broken down. And we use this format because we wanted to make sure that this was as affordable and as practical as possible. So you just sign up below. There's no risk. You've got a complete money-back guarantee if you don't think this is for you or you don't like it. But let me tell you, the results that this process has gotten are just blowing me away, which is why I'm prepared to put it on tape and show you guys exactly how to do it step by step. And when I say step by step, I really mean step by step. As long as you're watching this on the internet, really, so you've got all the skills that you need to be able to implement this process. So why don't you give it a try? You've got nothing to lose. We've got 11 modules. And, hey, at the end of this, you've built your bank up so that you can continue on and really give internet marketing a real crack. So thanks very much for listening. Sign up below. You will not regret it. And I will see you on the other side. And let's get started.